Warning. I chain smoke and I say fuck a lot. But I accept myself for the way I am. I accept you too. Viewer discretion advised.
I know everyone's probably itching for me to cover the Wayfair thing, and I've looked at it, and there's a lot of weird shit there. There really is. So much that it seems like it could be a setup, a false trail to get us off course. Maybe, maybe not. It's weird regardless. So I don't know. I'm looking at it, but I haven't decided anything yet. C60 in oil is a powerful antioxidant that moves through the body like a magnet to attract and neutralize free radicals. Gotta get rid of those radicals. C60 can slow down aging and reduce cell damage. It can also improve the immune system and reduce inflammation naturally. Not bad. If you're interested, check out my link in the description. Nutty.
Now, back to our show.
Geraldo Rivera needs to stop letting his creepy mustache tweet for him. Thanks to Maria Farmer for sharing this. You son of a bitch, how dare you defend this pedophile, not a socialite. I hid from her for 20 years and suffered immensely. Locking Ghislaine Maxwell in COVID-19, quote, isolation. It's a bullshit excuse to torture the socialite with solitary confinement and shithole horror of a jail. It's to give her a taste of what is in store if she refuses to cooperate with feds. Solitary confinement is torture and should be illegal. He seems more concerned about her than he does the victims, but I've covered him before. He's a groper.
Geraldo Rivera apologizes for defending Matt Lauer amidst sexual misconduct allegations. The 74-year-old Fox News host faced backlash after he tweeted that he was sad about Lauer being fired from NBC's Today Show on Tuesday. In a second tweet, Rivera continued writing, #sex harassment shouldn't be used to get even with bad bosses or hated exes. Some of his followers didn't take kindly to the message, and neither did Rivera's employer, Fox News, who released this statement, quote, "We were troubled by his comments and are addressing them with him."
Geraldo Rivera has apologized to Bette Midler and other women he named in his tawdry memoir, saying he is embarrassed and profoundly sorry to those mentioned. Midler demanded an apology from the Fox News contributor on Thursday, when a video resurfaced of the singer and actress telling Barbara Walters in 1991 that Rivera and a producer groped and drugged her in a bathroom in the 1970s.
Geraldo and his producer came to do an interview with me in the 70s, the early 70s. He and his producer left the crew in the other room. They pushed me into my bathroom. They broke 2 poppers and pushed them under my nose and proceeded to grope me.
Bette reacted on Twitter Thursday morning, sharing the video and writing, Geraldo may have apologized for his tweet supporting Matt Lauer, but he has yet to apologize for this. #MeToo.
And since everyone else has been talking about it, did Ghislaine Maxwell secretly run the most powerful Reddit accounts in history? Conspiracy theories suggest Epstein's pimp posted about everything from Israel to legalization of child porn for 14 years until Thread fell silent on her arrest. Hundreds of users have pointed out the u/Maxwell Hill handle has fallen silent since Maxwell's July 2 arrest on sex trafficking charges. July 9, 2020, Ghislaine Maxwell could have been secretly operating one of the most powerful Reddit accounts of all time, according to a widely shared conspiracy theory on the website. There is no definitive proof that the account is run by Ghislaine, but hundreds of users have pointed out that the u/Maxwell Hill handle has fallen silent since her July 2 arrest on sex trafficking charges related to Jeffrey Epstein. I don't really feel the need to go into this one so much though, because other people have talked about it. I don't know if there's a way to actually prove it. Plus, I don't really use Reddit, so I'll leave a link to this story below if you want to go through it. We all saw the pictures of Kevin Spacey and Ghislaine Maxwell on the thrones, right? From People, why Kevin Spacey and Ghislaine Maxwell sat in Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip's thrones. Prince Andrew's connection to disgraced pedophile Jeffrey Epstein has been called into question again, July 8, 2020. Now this is pretty weird, but it kind of connects to a couple things. First off, according to Blind Items, Kevin Spacey has been to the island. He's also been on the flight logs. In the last 2 Christmases, he's left weird coded video messages. Prince Andrew's connection to disgraced pedophile Epstein has been called into question again, as a photo of Epstein's alleged accomplice, Jizz-Face Crack Smell, sitting alongside Kevin Spacey on thrones at Buckingham Palace emerged. The Telegraph released the shot on the 4th of July, 2 days after Maxwell was arrested. The image, from 2002, shows Maxwell and Spacey, who has been accused of sexual assault by multiple people, laughing as they sit on the thrones of Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip during a tour of Buckingham Palace. The tour of the palace is believed to have been arranged by Prince Andrew, though it's unclear who took the image or if Andrew was in the throne room at the time. Quote, "You don't see this hardly ever, if ever," People Senior editor Michelle Tauber explains in this week's episode of The Royal Report. Quote, "These are chairs, thrones that will be roped off with the proverbial red velvet rope that you're picturing in your mind. They're not something that anyone would be expected to sit in. They are considered historic artifacts, so it's not something that would be in any way an appropriate use of the thrones, regardless of who you are, unless you happen to be Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip." Although the palace has not addressed the photo, Tauber explains, quote, "Behind the scenes, we expect no one was happy at the palace, including Her Majesty. But I wonder, is publishing these pictures sending a message? Is she trying to say that she's going to be queen for the day?"
Ghislaine Maxwell and her attorneys may be working at a deal using a federal tool known as Queen for the Day. That would involve her telling everything she knows about Jeffrey Epstein's sex trafficking ring.
Cooperation, cooperation, cooperation. It's not even an issue.
That's what federal criminal defense attorney Greg Lerman says Ghislaine Maxwell's attorneys are likely urging right now, maybe even striking a deal using what's known as the Queen for a Day.
Just like it says, you're the queen for the day. You get to talk about what you know, who you know, and that information cannot be used against you.
Queen for a Day letters are written agreements between federal prosecutors and defendants. In a one-day session, the accused can reveal all of the evidence they can bring to the table if the government agrees to cut a deal in their case. Here, that would be with the one person for years by the side of accused and mysterious sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein.
The one person who knows is Maxwell. She knows what happened beyond, the photograph, beyond the hug or the toast of champagne. She knows who the skeletons in the closet are, who hung out with Mr. Epstein, who went to the island or to his condos or wherever, and she can provide all of that information.
If there is a Queen for the Day letter, the government can't use what Maxwell might reveal against her, but they can use the information against other co-conspirators. The only caveat, if prosecutors discover someone lies during the Queen for a Day session, then the agreement is null and void and the information can be used against them in court. 58-year-old Maxwell right now being held in a small cell in the Metropolitan Detention Center, facing up to 35 years if convicted.
She has every reason to cooperate quickly and not later. It is rare that it happens later. It's more likely that it's happening as we speak.
Maxwell's bail hearing is next Tuesday. Plenty of time, Lerman says, for her to work out a Queen of the Day agreement and to start talking.
I've done a lot of blind item videos in the past using crazydaysandnights.net. And the reason I use them so much is they would put out a blind item story and later on the story would come out. And a big example of that is the blind item The Island from November 1, 2017, almost 2 years before Epstein was rearrested. This is the Holy Grail. This is what is on the horizon for some actors/producers and directors that will ruin them for all time. Until 2 weeks ago, I would have thought the chances for anything leaking from this was zero. People kept their mouths shut before, even when the feds were questioning lots of people. The thing is, though, lots of those people lied to the feds. Some were granted immunity and still lied. Why? Going to jail for lying to the government gets you Martha Stewart time and a book deal. Telling the truth gets you jail for a long time and no career or friends when you get out. Can you imagine a place where Hollywood types and rich executives from around the world can gather in one place and have sex with underage boys and girls without any interference from governments or parents? Yeah, well, there was such a place. There probably is a replacement somewhere. The problem is in finding it. When people are flying in from different corners of the globe, it can be tough. When your only choice before was to fly in a private plane to a private island, people knew where it was. I think there was some shady stuff going on in Joe Francis land, but nothing like the hundreds of teen boys and girls that were raped and abused and forced to be with men for weeks and months on end. Apparently, with all types of local governments looking into sexual assaults and rapes committed by Hollywood people coming into the light, the situation on the island they all thought they had carefully extricated themselves from is back. Could barely be back, or it could be back where everyone goes to jail. And he was talking about Epstein Island in 2017. And the rest of the blind item focuses on 3 players from Hollywood, and later on he did reveal this one. So without reading on the clues, I'll just tell you it's Kevin Spacey, Bryan Singer, and Woody Allen. But when you read about Kevin Spacey here in 2017, so most likely to flip and throw everyone under the bus is this A-list mostly movie actor who was an Academy Award winner. He is the one who almost killed several of the boys to the point where his host no longer invited him. And I'm not going to read the rest, but they're talking about Kevin Spacey possibly flipping. If that is so, could he have been queen for the day, king for the day, prince for the day? I don't know. But they're pictured there together in that first Christmas video he made. It was speculated that he was talking to Fuckingham Palace. Fucking stoned.
I got